Of the Parks Advisory Commission. We'll start with the call to order on my left.
Linda Goldhoff.
Kelly Whitaker,
Keith Cecil
Rhonda Ainsley.
Roger hits.
will rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Did everyone have a chance to review the minutes from the last week? Any changes need to be made? Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion. I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Your attachment is the budget report. Has everybody had a chance to review the budget?
I have no questions.
I did see on there the payment for the Greenleaf folks.
That was the last one.
Okay. I was wondering, I knew you mentioned something.
Contractual obligation.
Okay. Got it. And the 2022 meeting schedule, that is on the back of the image trees, or I'm sorry, on the back of the second page of the agenda there.
I move we approve the meeting schedule as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Moving right along into the Legacy Plaza sign. I'll let you take it from here. You seem to be our Legacy Plaza expert.
The expert is here. We have received two quotes. One from Image 360 for a smaller sign than what was presented last month. And their quote came in at $560. And then there was a quote from Sly Fox for a similar sign, and their quote was at $558.18. So the two quotes that we have seem very similar to each other and seem to have a much smaller sign design at 25 by 15. Looks like for both of them. So I think at this point, we can probably just decide if these are acceptable to us and if we want to move forward with a sign for Legacy Plaza.
And we had, back here we had, maybe I messed this up in my head. Did we have $1,200 in the budget? Did someone say that to me at one point? I don't know where if I dreamed that up, but
I'm looking right now.
okay.
You're okay.
I would be curious too, just making sure that obviously that is the right size. I'd want to see that on mocked up on a photo proof, obviously, to make sure that's the right size.
I don't think we could really afford to go much smaller. I mean, 25 is,
Yeah.
only about this big.
You don't want any smaller.
Right.
You're If you're going smaller, they won't be able to see it.
Right. Or is that, yeah. Yeah, but either one of these folks should be able to give us a proof with that on there.
That is part of the quote is to get proof and figure out, that's what we wanted to make sure that they both included in the quotes, so.
Okay. Do we need a motion to pursue or just a determination that that's what we should do?
We normally go with the lowest one, right? But I guess
Yeah.
we do need to make a motion to be able to spend the dollars, right?
Right. But my question is, do we want to wait for the mock-up before you?
Most of these, I mean, I'm assuming we're gonna have to kind of give the green light to somebody with the assumption that we're gonna come to an arrangement on the size. Because that would be
That's
just
usually
free design, right,
Probably the scope of work of that quote then would be the
right.
proof.
And then if they felt like it was off slightly, you just kick it back into the proof again. Typically how that works, you know, it's, oh, wait a minute, let's see what 30 by 18 looks like or whatever. And then, but you probably, I mean, I think we probably need to select somebody with the assumption that we're gonna move forward with that.
Since they're the same price, and I understand this are both metal, is there, they're both basically the same thing?
So you would assume, one would assume that. My only question with this top one would be, you know, is that including tax?
We don't pay tax.
We don't
We're
pay
tax
tax.
exempt.
We don't pay tax, okay, so we're tax exempt,
Which makes the other quote $2.50 less.
okay. And then,
It's another $5 less.
Yep.
yeah,
About.
and then I guess that does, I mean, you know, you wrote installation and all that, so it was a pretty brief, succinct answer, but
Yeah,
one would assume that if he wrote that, then that's what it is, that it would be the same exact materials.
That is, we work with that specific vendor with other items as well, so I can vouch and say that that's
What did
what
we,
what we would request would be what they would provide.
Which vendor?
Image 360.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we go with the bid from Legacy 360 for the 25 by 15 signs that Legacy Park installed for no more than $560.
do we have a second?
I have a question on the motion. Is that due to our current working or our current relationship with them? Because the
Yes,
other quote is
yes.
slightly less expensive.
Well, $4 and change, I mean, they're basically the same price, so
Right.
based on past experience with them.
It's totally up to the board. I was
Well, I'm
just
just
saying.
saying, and I know and that's one factor that's sometimes used is past experience.
I have a question. You mentioned what they quoted here, if we were to adjust to a different size because we felt like it wasn't and it went higher. I don't want to handcuff us not to be able to go higher. So say like as presented, or maybe we can amend the motion so that we don't end up having to start over because we're $20 over for a change.
That's fair. Making a motion to move forward with getting a sign, similar.
Well, I just didn't want to say just right out where we were bidding, just in case we had an adjustment. We had it. I don't know if we have to go back to do a formal vote to adjust. So either,
Well, if we accept this bid, it's really kind of hard to tell them we accept it and then adjust it, right?
If you're working with them and you decide as a board that you would like it to be adjusted, you have every right to say that you want it adjusted. But what Kelly is saying is that the motion should say as such that you would have that wiggle room without having to go through the whole process of getting another quote again. Is that fair to say?
yes.
I'll accept that.
Yeah, I think we would obviously reconvene if we decided that we needed to reproof it, right?
No, for sure. I just didn't want us to have a formal motion and then have to go back and get
Wait a
another
month
bid
later.
because,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's worth just amending it and saying, given the estimate and related scope of work, that we approve to go or work with Image 360, something like that.
Good with that? Do we have a second? I guess we should re-motion.
Re-motion.
Amend his motion.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we go with Image 360 for the sign of Legacy Park. Kelly, help me out. Finish this.
Based on the estimate that was provided, given the scope of work and the proofs as we move forward.
With the area to adjust.
Got that good now? All right.
You can tell me if I'm wrong later.
Okay. We can fix 2 minutes next week. I'll second it. Not bad.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Let's see, so the park impact fee, that's gonna be Julie. We'll turn it over to you.
Do you all want to give the update?
I think you're a pro.
I appreciate you.
It was a
joining
great
us.
meeting, though.
I
That
was
was
gonna say, I
great.
appreciate you joining us for the meeting. It
Yes.
was educational.
Yes, it was outstanding.
So we had the first meeting of the impact fee committee and had a pretty good discussion on what the levels of service, what's the appropriate levels of service in terms of how many acres of parkland per 1,000 people is how we measure that, and then how many miles of trail per how many, and then you determine how many 1 mile per 1,500 people, 2,000 people. So that's how you set that level of service. And so I had a good discussion on that and came up with, the consultant presented 3 options that the committee discussed. And I think we asked him to basically do an option, a combination of the options that he presented. And then the committee will reconvene. I actually just received information from him this afternoon on kind of the recalculation and what that looks like. So when we set the level of service, then there becomes an amount of items that need to be funded with town funds in addition to impact fee funds. So kind of a decision on what's the appropriate level of service that our residents are going to want, and also that we can realistically provide as well without having the fee go. It increases as we increase the level of service. So.
It was very interesting. that update. Anybody have any questions? So we do, I would ask, when that gets drafted, sounds like you said that that's coming pretty soon here.
Yeah.
Will that follow-up meeting be,
We are actually, according to our schedule that we set out, we would like to be here at this meeting next month with the consultant.
perfect?
So that's the schedule we're working towards.
Is there any plan for a date for a meeting for the master plan?
I sent him an email when he thinks we will have a meeting on that. He's done surveys at the farmer's market, stakeholder interviews. So he met with some business folks, some schools, other groups that provide recreation opportunities in the area. Not quite sure. I think I gave him a list of about 15 or 20 people that might be good to talk to in terms of interested in parks and recreation. And then we're getting ready to do kind of a community survey based on all of that data that we collect that came out of those as well. So we're trying to combine that to hit with the trunk or treat event to kind of collect additional information for that as well.
Cool.
So I don't have a date on the committee actually getting together, but we're trying to kind of gather a bunch of information so that when the committee gets together, like the impact fee, you guys had a lot of information to look at that the master plan committee has. Good information and input to kind of set priorities and look at where we want to go as well.
Memory serves me right, the impact fee has to be done by September or December. Is the master plan also, or I know you want them to go done at the same time.
We'd like to have them run on similar schedules. The master plan doesn't have a hard and fast deadline like the impact fee gets adopted by an ordinance, and so we'd like to stay within the same window on that. But the master plan, on those planning documents, it's a 5-year master plan, so we'd like to get it adopted in a similar time frame. I'd have to look at the old one to see exactly what the date was that we adopted it, but I don't think they were adopted at the exact same time last time either.
If it goes to January, it's not gonna hurt.
It's not gonna hurt anything if they're a meeting or two off.
That's exciting.
Any questions on those 2 projects? All right.
Thanks for the update.
Yes, sir.
Really, while you're there, I've got a question. Heard at the town council meeting, well, I watched it on my phone, but.
Yeah.
That the town council agreed to let bids for the new walking trail and the phase 1 at Gifford Park. And they said that it's gonna get bids out and may start at Gifford this fall yet.
Potentially.
It's in May.
Yeah, so we did the bids for, we bid them together since it's similar work to try to get better pricing. And then since it's late in the construction year, there was an alternate to start this fall yet or for a spring to see if we get better pricing. And those bids it's not bid date yet, so we haven't opened them, so I don't know what the result is by having that alternate in there. So there's some work on the trail project that could be done over the winter, but obviously the asphalt plants are gonna close and we won't be able to pave over the winter.
But it's coming.
But it's bid opening, I want to say, is next week on that project. So yeah, it's coming here in the next week or so.
Very good.
Good.
Thanks for the update.
I just need to jump ahead of her.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
while she was
That's
up
exciting.
there.
Yeah, I like it. Okay,
Let the rest of you catch up on it.
absolutely. All right. So moving into the community day, another exciting item on our agenda. We've got that set for October 23rd, which is this Saturday from 9 to 1. So we do have that confirmed with our helpers from the Impact program. There'll be 10 folks that'll be chaperoned there by 2 other adults. So we'll have those individuals plus I don't know if that one individual that you recruited is still interested in.
I will let them know.
Okay,
Yeah, there would be 2 of them,
Okay.
at least 2, maybe more.
sure. If they would like to attend, that's fine as well. And any of you, our scope of work will likely entail painting the benches and then cleaning up some of the other weeds and branches and anything that we can do. I'm actually going to go out tomorrow and try to make a list so I can try to keep folks going in the right direction out there. And then, so those are kind of the general things that we would like to do. They are, so that's where we're at with that. And
And this is gonna be at Windish.
it's going to be a Windish, correct. Going to be focused on Windish, yes. So if we end up moving right along and we can head over to another park, we might just do that. But we're likely just focus on Windish.
I have a problem.
You have a problem? Okay,
And I'll be there.
that's all right. I'm sorry.
My granddaughter's not even a regional, so.
Well,
she's
awesome.
priority.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. Good. Well, we'll work double hard since you're not there.
Just cheer for her all the way
Yeah.
there.
Good deal. All right. Anything else anybody has? I was curious. I saw anything else on that before I move forward.
I was just gonna say, Keith, if you will let me know if there's anything else supply wise the town to get.
Yes.
Brian knows that we were
He's
meeting
waiting.
tonight.
Okay.
And so if there's anything that you see tomorrow or tonight, if you walk through, just
Yep.
let me know so I can let him know what type of supplies you'll need.
Perfect.
He did state that if we have items that we need to, that the street department needs to haul off branches, clippings, whatever, he's gonna bring a wheelbarrow.
Okay.
And he also said to place the items in one of the parking spots, like the one across from the porta potty.
Okay.
So for the south. So if we need to get a cone out there Saturday morning, just so that nobody else tries to park in that spot or whatever else, we can do that too.
Okay.
But just let me know what supplies you think he'll need,
Okay.
so that I can let him know so he can take care of that.
Should we put them on if you could ask him, we can talk about it later on, but a tarp, maybe he might help it just to put all that stuff on top of. It's up to him, but
Okay.
I don't know if he's going to do it, but
They may just got there with a broom or something
yeah,
out.
I don't know.
So
Yeah,
it wouldn't surprise me.
okay, that works. All right, good to,
She spoke of this porta potty on the inspection yesterday.
yes.
It was not very clean and needed to be empty.
Okay. Usually they do that on the weekends, so I did not get to reach out to them today, so I'll
Okay.
reach out to them tomorrow and make sure that has gotten done. I was kind of giving them an extra grace day period,
Gotcha.
so I'll reach out to them and make sure they get that done.
Okay.
Keith, just for everybody's information, I was over at Wendy's tonight, and I noticed on the playground area by the swing, there's 3 pieces of riprap. Somebody had carried them over there.
Okay.
So I took them back to the drainage structure, and I even had some help. There's 2, we have fairly, and not too big as ones, but one bigger one. And I took 2 over first and came back, and there's a woman and her about 3-4-year-old daughter, and I was coming back, heard the little girl say, "I'm helping carry rocks." And her mother was carrying
I like
a
it.
big one over to me.
You started a new program out there at the park here. Good, I
We
like it.
weren't there yesterday about, let's see, 3 o'clock or so.
Yeah,
So it had to be done either last evening or sometime today.
something we might watch.
Yeah.
I know how they got there, kids.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we'll be sure that at 1 o'clock on October 23rd, it's all in the right spot. All right. Something else I noticed on your report, well, I was glad you read. So, what, if I may ask, what are we going to do with the fence?
I'm going to get some estimates.
Okay.
We're following due diligence with all
Okay.
that, so it's on our radar.
Okay. I figured, I was just curious if there was an update on that.
Is there another sign ordered for the
Yes.
miles around the path?
Okay. Anybody have anything else to add here before we adjourn? All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.